Hey, this is Bailey at The Pour Over.
And this is Joe at The Pour Over.
If you need an excuse to head to the beach, play some sand volleyball, dig in a sandbox, or just fill some holes in your backyard, today's National Play in the Sand Day. Celebrate accordingly. Now for the headlines. Today, we're talking about plans for a meeting between President Trump and Russian President Putin in Alaska, an NFL preseason game that ended early due to a player injury, separate shootings in Georgia and New York, and other top news for Monday, August 11th. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with The Pour Over.
Here's your quote of the day. One of the most beautiful gifts in the world is the gift of encouragement. John O'Donohue. Let's get started with some espresso shots.
Ukraine-Russia peacemakers are working overtime. Friday marked President Trump's deadline for Russia to make peace or face more sanctions. Before the day's end, Trump announced a face-to-face with Russian President Putin in Alaska on August 15th. The White House said Ukrainian President Zelensky's invitation is, quote, being discussed. Ahead of Alaska's summit, Trump said a peace deal may include, quote, some swapping of territories to the betterment of both Russia and Ukraine. Zelensky stressed he will not cede land and that peace talks without Ukraine won't achieve anything. Zelensky was on the guest list for Saturday's meeting of national security advisors in England, where he worked with VP Vance and European leaders on, quote, constructive diplomacy and decisions that can work. Meanwhile, drone and missile attacks continue, with Russian attacks on Ukraine reaching record levels this summer. In the face of massive global conflicts around the world, it's easy to feel helpless. Today and this week, there's something powerful and effective you can do. Pray for world leaders. Here's a prayer from Clement of Rome. Lord and Master, you have given these rulers the power of sovereignty through your own mighty power. Grant unto these leaders health, peace, unity, and stability, so they can administer without failure the government you have given them. For you, Heavenly Master and King of the ages, you give ordinary people glory, honor, and power over all things in this world. Direct their leadership in a way that is good and well-pleasing in your sight. Amen.
Detroit Lions safety Maurice Norris is all good after an ambulance drove him away from Friday's preseason game. The defender was knocked unconscious during a collision and treated on the field for 20 minutes while players from both teams gathered midfield for prayer. When play resumed, the Falcons took a snap and both teams stood still, letting the clock run. Coaches agreed it, quote, didn't feel right to finish. An official suspended the game with 6 minutes left. Doctors later confirmed Norris was in stable condition, though it's uncertain when he'll be game-ready again. Meanwhile, the Patriots opened their season by unveiling a 12-foot statue of Tom Brady outside Gillette Stadium, and Jaguars kicker Cam Little kicked a 70-yard field goal, which would be an NFL record, except preseason games don't count. Here's a verse to consider when the unexpected leaves you feeling unsteady. God is our refuge and strength, a helper who is always found in times of trouble. Psalm 46, verse 1.
Separate weekend shootings left a Georgia officer dead and 3 wounded in New York City. In Atlanta, shots were fired Friday evening outside the CDC campus near Emory University. Responding officers found 33-year-old Officer David Rose critically wounded. He later died at the hospital. More gunfire came from a nearby CVS, where police found the suspect with a gunshot wound. He died at the scene. Authorities say the suspect was, quote, a known person and may have believed he was sick and blamed the COVID-19 vaccine, though the investigation is ongoing. Hours later in Times Square, 3 people were wounded in a shooting just after 1 a.m. A 17-year-old suspect has been arrested, and charges are pending. Authorities say the shooting stemmed from a dispute. All 3 victims are in stable condition. While mourning with victims, Christians have hope in the face of a violent world. The servant of God, who himself did no violence, has been afflicted by his Father on our behalf, so that we can live in the Lord's peaceful presence forever. Isaiah 53, 4-5 says, "Yet he himself bore our sicknesses, and he carried our pains. But we in turn regarded him stricken, struck down by God, and afflicted. But he was pierced because of our rebellion, crushed because of our iniquities. Punishment for our peace was on him, and we are healed by his wounds."
Hey, it's Zan from The Pour Over. If the last thing you want to do right now is figure out what you're cooking for dinner, I have a solution for you. HelloFresh. It takes the meal planning and grocery shopping stress out of cooking. Just fresh ingredients and easy-to-follow recipes delivered straight to your door. I love cooking, but deciding what to make every night, not as much. With HelloFresh, I pick my meals, and everything I need shows up. No decision fatigue, no wasted ingredients. Total game changer. With 50-plus chef-crafted meals every week, there's always something new to try. And if life gets busy, you can skip a week or pause anytime. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/TPO10FM now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/TPO10FM to get 10 free meals and a free item for life.
In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. Israel standing behind its plan to take control of Gaza. The Security Cabinet-approved plan involves, number 1, disarming Hamas, number 2, rescuing hostages, number 3, demilitarizing Gaza, number 4, occupying the Strip, and number 5, establishing a new government. Full occupation of Gaza City is reportedly step 1, which Hamas calls, quote, a new war crime. A coalition of Western countries said Israel's plan will, quote, aggravate a catastrophic situation.
Mexico is drawing a hard line at the border. President Claudia Sheinbaum denied reports that the U.S. military would enter Mexican territory to fight cartels, saying, quote, "We cooperate, we collaborate, but there is not going to be an invasion." Her comments follow a New York Times report that Trump secretly ordered the Pentagon to use military force against Latin American drug cartels.
The IRS is refiling, or rather refilling, its commissioner position again. President Trump removed IRS Commissioner Billy Long after just 2 months, temporarily replacing him with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, the 6th department leader since January, while the Trump admin finds a new head of taxes. Long, a former Republican Missouri congressman, announced he's taking on a new role, U.S. Ambassador to Iceland.
California residents are returning to their homes after a recent wildfire forced thousands to evacuate. The Canyon Fire ignited northwest of LA Thursday, spreading to over 5,400 acres and was more than 60% contained as of yesterday morning. Further north, the Gifford Fire has scorched over 104,000 acres, California's largest wildfire in 2025, in a remote part of Los Padres National Forest.
Houston, we have a problem. Apollo 13 commander Jim Lovell, who steered NASA's most famous detour back to Earth in 1970, has died at 97. After an onboard explosion scrubbed the moon landing, Lovell guided his crew safely back to Earth for an iconic splashdown watched by tens of millions live and millions more in the 1995 Hollywood reenactment.
That's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, TPO fam. If you're listening on the Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We're grateful for your support and hope you have a great Monday. Catch you on Wednesday.
The other day in the kitchen, I poured citrus element powder in my water bottle. My wife looked at me and asked when the last time was that I drank water without element. I looked at her and couldn't even remember. No sugar, no crashes, just the science-backed ratio of electrolytes we need to stay sharp. Honestly, it's the real MVP of the pour-over. Stay fresh and hydrated with us. The pour-over listeners get a free 8-pack of Element's most popular drink flavors with any drink mix purchase. Just use the Element link in the show notes.